Hey YouTubians, it's Tony here from We Try Anything. Channel likes try anything, so you don't have to. And today's video is going to be a tutorial video about the CASIO DBC-32, which has a module number of 2888. This is, I'm not going to lie, quite a complicated watch. So what I've listed below is the time codes that will take you off to the specific parts of this watch, because I would imagine this video is going to be a little bit longer than the usual videos that I do. And also there's so many features of this watch that if you're just after a specific feature on the video, then obviously it'll take you straight to that part of the video. Now, the first thing I'm going to say about the actual CASIO DBC-32 is that this watch has quite a large, nice display and a keypad that operates various options of this watch, and it also has 4 pushers that go from left to right. So you can see the 2 there and you see the 2 there, which I shall be pointing to or pressing throughout the duration of this video. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the actual display on this watch. Now, as you can see on the display, it is quite a very nice display to look at, and what you can see going on here, you got the actual day of the week. Now you have 3 options, which I will talk about in a bit, which is the auto light, 3 second, and mute. The auto light is obviously when you flick the watch, the light will come on. The 3 second one is that when you press the illumination button, which I shall show you in a bit, you've got it illuminates for 1.5 seconds. If that option is highlighted, the actual delay will be for 3 seconds, so it will illuminate for 3 seconds. And then the mute option, you can mute all buttons and keypad presses except for any alarms, and once that is operated via the calculator option, which I will show you later on in the video. So moving down, what you've got here, you've got A, which symbolizes whether it is AM or PM. Now that won't be shown if you are in the 24-hour format. You also have the actual hours that go on here. So in this case, we are looking at the 10 o'clock in the morning being at A, 38 being the minutes, and the seconds being just to the right of the actual main display. So it is 10:38. Well, it'll be 10:39 and 0 seconds. Underneath, you've got the actual year listed here, which is 2022. You've got the month and you've got the date within the month. And underneath that, what you have is where it says adjust mode, light and AC, and 12 and 24 hour. These refer to the buttons to the left and to the right. So obviously the adjust allows you to adjust the options on the watch. The mode takes you through the various modes on the watch here, which I'm just quickly showing you here. The light, which I'll show you in a bit, is referring to the actual light operation of the watch. And obviously the 12 and 24 hour, if I press it, you'll see the A disappear. That's what this button will allow you to do. And if you keep your finger on the button, it allows the actual daylight saving time to be incorporated. And if you press it again, you've got the actual daylight saving time turned off. So as you can see, a 24 hour, 12 hour, daylight saving time, which is a long press, and daylight saving time turned off, which is a long press also. But just bear in mind that whenever you do press that button, it will flick between 12 and 24 hour. Now underneath, you do have an amount of keypad options that go on here. Now what I've noticed with this watch, if you do press the keypad option here, you can see, I mean, you just got to press it a little harder than normal. You can see dual time. So if you wanted to quickly flick to see what time it is in another part of the world, you just press that button here on the main timekeeping screen. You can also see what will be your first data entry, which if you press that button to the just where it says tell and forward, if you just press that, you will see the first number appear, or what would be the first number in the data bank appear just here. So just bear that in mind. Now the next part I'm going to talk about is the actual illumination of the main display. First of all, to operate the illumination of the CASIO DBC-32, what you press is the top right hand button. I've moved it off to the left because I'm going to just quickly show you a clip of what it's like in the dark, and it is quite good, to be fair. And all you do is just press that button, and what it is, it's set at the minute to a 1.5 second delay. Now if you want to change that to 3 seconds, what you've got to do is just press the adjust button for a couple of seconds, and then what it'll allow you to do, if you just press the light button just here, it will illuminate for 3 seconds. So if I just turn the adjust button off, just so it just goes back to normal main timekeeping display, and if you press the illumination, what you'll see is that it is delayed for 3 seconds. Now if you wish to turn that off so it's back to the normal 1.5 seconds, because I would imagine it will deplete the battery a little, again keep your finger on the top left hand button, which is the adjust button, and then what you can then do is just press what would be the illuminating button, and you will notice that the actual 3-second indicator here has switched off, and you just press it off again. Now if you want auto light, what you do is all you got to do is keep your finger on the top right hand button, which is for the illumination of the display. Keep your finger on it, and what you'll see is that little dot will be filled in, and that's just to say that the actual main auto light is now on. So anytime you flick the actual watch, what you'll notice is that auto light will now come on. And just to turn it back off, it is as simple as that. So all I did was just keep my finger on the top right hand portion of the watch, which is this pusher here, and that is the illumination options of the Casio DBC-32. And what I'm going to show you how to do is how to amend the date, time and language of this Casio DBC-32. Now as you can see, it will present the information in 13 languages, as this watch is a multilingual watch. Now what I've done here, I've just totally scrambled up the date and time just to show you how to do it to what would be the date and time that I'm recording this video on. Now as you can see, the language that I've chosen for this option, just to show you as an illustration purposes, is French, and you can see by just quickly pressing the top left hand button to see what language you are in. Now the date here obviously refers to what would be Saturday, as it's just showing you Sunday, and that is affected by whatever date that you put in there, because you can't change the actual day of the week. It is based on whatever date has been inputted into the watch. Now how to amend what would be the various aspects of the date and time, what you need to do is obviously keep your finger on the adjust button for a couple of seconds, but it is the operation of this button here and that button there to move the what would be the flashing cursor, what would be left or right, and then it will also be the pressing of these various keypad options that will allow you to amend the date and time and the language of this watch. Right then, to amend the actual date and time values of this watch, all you do is keep your finger on the what will be the top left hand button, which is the adjust button, and as you can see, the seconds are flashing straight away. Now to zero off the seconds, or to reset what would be the seconds, you just press the 0 on the keypad, and what you'll notice is that the seconds are zeroed off, but because they were over 30 seconds, the minute value has gone up by 1. But if you reset the seconds by just when it's under the 30-second value, it doesn't affect the minute value whatsoever. Now what you do press is left and right, as I've mentioned. So the left will move the actual what would be the flashing cursor or the flashing value over to the left hand side, and to the right you can actually amend certain options moving forward as opposed to backwards. So it is quite handy with these two buttons. Now if I wanted to change what would be the hours that we're in at the minute, so at this minute in time it is what would be just 10 o'clock. So if I just move over to the left side, if I press the 1 on the keypad, what you'll notice is that the actual value will move on to the next part of the time featured here. So if I just press 0, you'll notice it moves on 1, so it's 0 again, and then one more time is 0. So it is what would be 10 o'clock. Now obviously it's moved on to the seconds, but what I want to now do is start amending what would be the year. So I move it on 1 again, so it's 2022, so press 2 again, and then what I then do is press the 1 and then 2, and then it is the 15th of December. Now if I've done it wrong, I can then just press the backward button just to re-amend it, which is easily done. Now what you'll see is that you've got the what would be the language that this watch is presented in. So all you've got to do is press what would be the plus and minus to go through it. So it's Espanol, which is Spanish, and then you can start going through the languages until you choose the version that you want to feature the watch in. So in this option, in this case I want to be English, but I believe you can press to go forward. That's the button just here. So you can go forward as well, just in case you've gone past it, or backward. So if I just press the forward option there and get back to English, and there you are. So now as the languages are featured, if it is still flashing, then all you need to do is press the top left hand button, and that will take you back to the main timekeeping mode. Now, the one other thing I forgot to mention, and I thought I'd just say before I do actually carry on with the video, is that you can amend the AM and PM, and it is very easily done. So if I just go back into the timekeeping mode adjustments, now move the flashing cursor over to the left. Now make sure it is on what would be the first character that flashes there in the hours, and all you do is press the PM, and then obviously that will be now 10:02 PM. If you want to go back to AM, it'll be 10:03 AM. Now obviously it's showing that with the 12 and 24 hour feature turned off, so it's actually just 12 hours. But if you do have it on 24 hours, it will show it in what will be the 24-hour display. So again, PM button down the bottom right hand corner to change the AM, PM, and put it back again to change it back to AM, and there you go. And that is how to change the date, time and language on the CASIO DBC-32. The next function to talk about with this watch will be the Databank function, which is accessible by just pressing this bottom left hand corner button, which is the mode button. If you press it once, it'll take you off to the Databank function. Now what you'll notice, it did say DB and 24. Now this watch can hold up to 25 records. So in the case of this, if you want to see how many records you got left that you can input into the watch, if you just keep your finger on the P or thumb on the PM button, you will see it says 24. Then that means it's got 24 records that extra that you can store on this watch. Now the one of them is currently taken up by this example one that I've put in here. Now what I will show you how to do is how to create a new data bank record, how to edit a data bank record, and how to delete a data bank record. Now before I do actually mention how to create a new data bank, delete and edit, if you want to use these two buttons here to the left and to the right on the keypad where it says rev and time and tell and forward, you can go backwards and forwards through the data that you have on this watch. This keypad is not the easiest to press, so if it doesn't happen the first time, just make sure you just give it a good press down, and what you'll see is that it is going through the records that you have stored on this watch. Now the other thing to mention before I forget, or before I progress on with the video about how to enter a new data record, at the top, what you've got, see scrolling from right to left, is what would be the name part of the record, and underneath what you've got is what would be the actual data in which you put for the name. So for example, in this case it would be a telephone number or something like that, or even a numerical password if you really wanted to. But what I'll show you how to do is how to create a new record from this. So if you move it forward to one, well, what you can do is you can either move it forward to one, to what would be a blank record, which is indicated by this, or what you can do is press that button there, and that will take you off to a blank record for you to amend or to add. Right, when you are on this screen, to start the actual data input of your record, what you do, you press the adjust button to the top left hand corner, and what you'll start seeing is the cursor for the name part of the record start to actually flash. And what you want to do is you can press the tell forward and or the rev time, or what would be reverse or forward. And if you want to say, for example, put a 9 in, or any number or symbol, you can press that. And if you want to go forward, so it goes through the alphabet first, you just press the forward option here. So let's call it test in this instance. So we've got the T here. Now if you press that button there, bottom right hand corner, it'll allow you to advance the character by 1. So if we do test EST, and if you go forward by accident, you can press the rev time to go backwards if you've just gone a bit too forward on the character selection, and then press again, and let's get to S. Just spin through there, test, press this button here again, and just press it one more, just get it to test. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put in a few numbers just so you can see how the numerics will look on this part of the naming procedure of what would be the records for the data bank. So let's just go, we could go backwards now, because obviously that's where the numbers are presented after the actual alphabet going on here, and I believe it will allow you to put in some symbols as well that this watch may feature. So let's put test exclamation mark, and if we just press that one more time, and if you are done with the character selection for the naming part of the record, just press it a couple of times and the bottom right hand corner and button, and that will allow you to move on to what would be the numerical part of data bank entry. So if I just put in 1, 2, 3, I don't know if you can press these ones. Let me just try. No, these buttons don't do anything, but you can just have a space there, which is what that's for, the SPC. So if we just press, say, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's put another space in there if we want. 9, and then back to 1, 2, 2, 3, and then go 4, and then I believe 4, and then that should take you back. That will complete all the number entries for this part of the record, and then it takes you back to what would be the data or the name entry for the top part of the record. And if you want to stop amending that, all you do is just press the adjust button at the top, and that will just say it's ready. The flashing means it's done now. So that is now stored within the databank part of your watch. And if I press the forward option, so you can see there's a new entry, but again you've got the Casio one which I did earlier just to show you how it looks. And if you go again, you will see that you can, or press the forward button, you can see the other entries within this watch. Now you are allowed up to store up to 25, but obviously if you've got too many entries on this watch, so I'm going to show you how to delete one if you want to, just if there's an entry that you don't need anymore, or just you've got too many entries and you need to free up some space. So go on the actual entry that you want to delete. If you press the what would be this adjust button here, just to start adjusting the actual data entry. If you press the two left and right hand buttons at the bottom here, that allows you to clear the data entry there. So if I just turn that off, what you'll see is just the test featured in the data bank. Now what I'm going to show you how to do is how to amend a data entry on the CASIO DBC-32. Right then, to amend the actual data part of the watch, or the one of the data bank entries, so let's re-look at the test again. So again, let's just press the adjust button to the top left hand corner of the watch, and what you'll see is obviously it says test. So let's change it to testing. So instead of, what I've done, I've scrolled across using that button there just to move the actual cursor across. So let's change it to ing. So again, we'll probably go backwards because it'll probably be quicker to do so. Let's do ing. So let's do I, and then move it one more for n. Again, you do have to press these buttons a little harder than normal. And then one more, and then G. Whoop, just going back, and as you can see there's testing. So if I just move it a couple more, and then what it'll allow you to do, it'll move it onto what will be the characters. And then again, if I want to change that to 5, if I move it one more time, then I want to fill that in there, it's easily done. So just to remember, the keypad will allow you to put in the number entries for this part of the watch, or part of the actual data bank. And if you want to just move it forward, you can easily do so. So if I just press 2 there, and 6, and obviously 8, 2, 4, 4, and then that will take you back to the actual naming part of the data bank entry. And then if I'm happy with the actual amended part of the data bank, all I then just press is the adjust button to the top left hand corner. And there you go. It's as easy as that. And that is how to operate the data bank function of this watch. Now, if there is anything I have missed on this part of the watch, or any part of the watch, then I have listed the instructions in the description box below. It will take you off to the Casio website, and it will allow you to maybe read how to do it at your leisure. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is how to operate the calculator part of this Casio DBC-32, and it is easily accessible by just pressing the button until you get to where it says cal, which is for calculator. Now this watch will also do what I would say a few different calculation points, but all I'm going to quickly do is show you how to do what will be some very simple calculations. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place on the screen here where it can show you how to do what would be constant calculations as well. So it is literally just a few presses of these buttons, but as I say, I'm going to just concentrate on the simplistic part of how to operate the calculator watch on this Casio. Right, the actual calculating part of the watch is obviously you use the the numerical keypad, which is underneath the display, and as you can see, you've got division, you've got times, you've got minus, and you've also got plus. Also, you do have the decimal point there where it says SPC, and you've got the decimal point there, and also you've got equals as well, just down the bottom right hand portion of the keypad on this watch. So if I wanted to do, say, 14, what would be, say, let's go times, and then 5, and then that equals 70. If I wanted to clear it off, I just press the bottom right hand pusher there, and if I wanted to do, say, like, let's find out 2.567, 0.9. Again, so let's say divided by 1.2, and that equals quite a long number going on there. So you've got 2.1408333, or let's do the value of pi. So again, delete that. 22 divided by, you make sure you press it so you can see the division symbol highlighted there. 22 divided by 7, and as you can see, there is the value of pi to a certain decimal place. So it is quite an easy thing to operate. Now, as well as the calculator, this watch also features what would be currency conversion. Now, the currency conversion is accessed by just pressing the what would be the bottom right hand button, or what is signified as AC in 12 and 24 hours, so this pusher here. Now, it is simple in the way it operates, and I'll just quickly show you the one way of that you could operate the calculator, the currency converter. In, say, for example, if you wanted to find out how much UK or how much money you would get if you were to convert it to another currency. So let's just quickly show you that one. So if I just keep the top left hand button pressed, that will allow you to adjust what is the currency what you're converting to. So let's say £1. So my £1 is $1.25 that I would get to the pound. And if I just press that again, now all I've got to do, say for example, just put in I'm going to convert over £400, and that will give me $500 in terms of what I would get if I was to convert it over to dollars. Now, there is other ways that you can go backwards and stuff like that. There is other what's known as operators where it will divide it, but they are more listed in the instructions that I've linked to below. But it is just, as I say, it is just a very simple way of converting to other values, really. So £599, again, if I just press that, I'll get 748.75, and it will depend on what you put in. If you just press it, you can see what you adjust it to, so you can adjust it to other values as such. But as I say, I mean, there's a little bit more about it in the instructions, but I just wanted to quickly show you how you could just quickly adjust it and operate that currency conversion. So if I just press that and just to turn it off, and then if I just put it back to the calculator, and there you go. Now, before I forget, the one other thing that you can do on the calculator option, and I don't believe it's on any other function of this watch, you can also mute the buttons on this watch. Now, to mute the buttons, it's only available in the calculator function. Now, muting the watch, you will still get the alarms and stuff like that activated, but it will mute the buttons or the button presses on this watch. And what you'll notice is that when I do activate the mute option on this watch, you will see a little square appear next to the mute feature there, or the mute text that's at the top right hand corner of the watch. Now, to do that, if you hold down this button here, and you will see it should say mute, and then obviously as I'm pressing the buttons, nothing is sounding. So if you want to turn that off, make sure you go back into the actual calculator mode, and then press the button down what I'm pushing here, the bottom right hand button, and just keep your finger on it, and what it'll do, it'll mute. And I don't think it'll work while you're in the currency conversion. Oh, it will do. So as long as you just keep your button pressed down, depending on what part of the calculator option you're in, you can mute it, or you can obviously allow the key signals to operate, or the key beeps as you're pressing the buttons on the watch. So the next mode to talk about, let's just go back into calculator mode, and then if I was just to press the button again, what I've noticed is that if you are operating a certain function in this watch and you press the mode button again, it will take you back to the timekeeping mode. But let's just cycle through to what would be the alarm mode of the CASIO DBC-32. Right, we're in the alarm mode, and just to show you, just to indicate that you are in the alarm mode, you do have the bell icon featured here, and also you have the letters A and L, which obviously signify alarm. Now, this watch does have 5 alarms, which can be accessed by just pressing the tell forward or the reverse buttons on the keypad here. So you can see you can go up to 5 independent alarms. And also, if I press it one more time, what you'll see, that is the hourly signal indicator. Now, to activate what would be the hourly signal, which means the actual watch will go off on the, or it'll beep on the hour every hour to indicate a new hour has transpired, you just press that bottom right hand button pusher here, and that you'll see is that you'll have the letters SIG, which stand for signal. If you want to turn it back off and deactivate the hourly signal, you just press it again. Now, to listen, if you want to hear what would be the alarm go off, all you do, I'm going to put my microphone next to the actual alarm so you can hear it. So it's not going to be easily done. If I just press this button here for a couple of seconds, you can hear a test of the actual alarm and how it sounds. So what I've done, because I've pressed that button, I've activated the alarm even though I haven't adjusted it just yet. So if I want to turn alarm 1 off, you can easily do so. But also, I'll just quickly show you, if you want to activate alarm 2, and obviously I activate alarm 3, and activate alarm 4, and activate alarm 5, you can see all the alarms here at the bottom are activated. If you want to turn them off, obviously you press the bottom right hand pusher there when you're on the actual specific alarm number, and then just press it again. And if I just go backwards, press it again, and then one more time, press it again. But when I've pressed it again, it's activated the snooze option. But if you want to turn both the snooze and the alarm option off, just press it one more time, and that's it. All the alarms are cleared, as are the hourly signal. Now what I'm going to do is just show you how to operate what would be a daily alarm on this CASIO DBC-32. Now, to just simply adjust it so it's just a daily alarm, because this watch also, not only does it have 5 alarms and an hourly signal and snooze, it also allows you to do daily alarm, date alarm, month alarm and monthly alarm. Now, I'm not going to show you in this video because this video is going to be quite long, to say the least, but if you go to the instructions below and if you click on the link and just have a look at how to operate more of the alarms, you can easily glean that you can amend just this part to be more specific in which date that the alarm will go off or which month that the alarm will go off, because you can set it for all of that. But as I say, in this instance, I'm just going to show you how to amend the daily alarm. Now, to start the adjustment of the daily alarm, so this is alarm 1, if you just keep your finger, or just press that button there for a couple of seconds, and what you'll see is that the actual first value, or what would be the first value of the time, or what would be the hours, it starts to flash. But you'll also, the A will flash. So if you want to change it from, if you're changing it, say you want to do an afternoon time or an evening time that you want the alarm to go off, you just press the PM button there and you'll notice it's now P. But if you want to go back to A, so say for example I want to set this watch to go off every day at 7:30 in the morning, you just press it one more time, and I want to do 7:30 as I mentioned, so it's going to be 0730. Now what you'll notice is that the cursor will start flashing on these parts of the watch. Now that is where you can be more specific, as I've said, about the date alarm, the 1 month alarm and the monthly alarm. But as opposed to me doing that and this video going on for quite a while, if you just look in the instructions of this watch, which I've linked to in the description box below, it will easily show you how to affect them values there. So again, if I just want to stop the adjustment of this alarm, you just press it there, and as you can see, alarm 1 is now activated and it is now set for 7:30 every morning. Now if I wanted to do another alarm, so for example I wanted the alarm to go off so I know to pick up my children, say let's say about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so again if I just press for alarm 2, if I just keep finger on the adjust button, and again what you'll notice is that straight away alarm 2 is now activated. I want to do it as a PM because obviously it's going to be say 3 o'clock PM. So again, if I want to do 0, because I haven't got this in 24-hour format on the main timekeeping time, so if I want to do say 3:15, just so you be more specific, and then again that's it. So you just press that. What now? This watch will go off every day at 3:15 PM, as well as going off every morning at 7:30 in the morning. Now again, as I say, if you want to just turn them 2 alarms off, you just press this button here, just to what would be the bottom right hand pusher. That's now turned off alarm 1, and if I just want to go forward and just turn off alarm 2, it's easily done. And that is really the simple part of how to do a daily alarm, turn on the alarms and turn off the alarms for this CASIO DBC-32. And as I say, if you want to be more specific in the actual date you want the alarm to go off, or the month, or a day within the month, then you're just going to mess around with them values there, which are explained more in the instructions I've linked to in the description box below. The next function to talk about will be the stopwatch mode. Now that is accessed by pressing the mode button from the actual main timekeeping screen. Now this stopwatch will measure a elapsed time up to just under 24 hours, but also it will do an elapsed time, which is just a simple start and stop of the stopwatch, split time and 2 finishes. So to show you how to measure an elapsed time, all you do is press the bottom right hand pusher here and just start the stopwatch. So let's do it for a couple of seconds, and then for example the elapsed time I need to record has stopped. So just press it again, and that stops the actual elapsed time on this watch. If you want to reset the stopwatch, you just press the top left hand pusher there, and that allows you to reset the stopwatch. Now this watch will allow you to indicate a split time. So if I press start on the elapsed time, and then if I press this top left hand button here, it shows you what would be the split time. So if I leave it for a couple of more seconds, what you'll notice is that it is still recording the elapsed time by the flashing time colon going on there. And if I just release the split time, you'll notice is that the actual time has jumped up, because obviously it's still recording what would be the elapsed time. And if I want to stop it and then reset it, it's as easily done as that. And then finally, this watch will do first and second finish times. So say for example, just the normal example that I use for these sort of explanations, that you got two runners in a race, you want to record the first runner, and then also you want to record the second runner going through the finish line. So what you do is you press the elapsed time. So let's leave it for a couple of seconds. So the first runner does the race in an unbelievably quick time of a couple of seconds. So if you press the split time, that would be what would be the first runner going through the finish line. Now if I want to record, or if I want to see what the second runner does it in, you press, as they're going through the finish line, you press the stop the elapsed time, and then if you press split again, that will be the second runner going through the finish line. And if I just want to reset it, and that's it, it's as easily done as that. Now the other thing this watch features is a function which is known as dual time, which is what I'm going to go into right now. What dual time allows you to do, it'll allow you to set up a different time for, say for example, if you are communicating with business associates in another part of the world or loved ones, you can set up what will be their local time in a different part of the world. Now the seconds will always be synchronized with whatever seconds you do have on the main timekeeping zone. But in this instance, if I want to have it a couple of hours forward of the time, or what would be my local time here, which is 11:02 here in the UK, if I just press the adjust button here, it's like adjusting what would be the time. Now you can adjust the AM or PM on the dual time by just pressing that PM button down the bottom right. So let's leave it as it's going to be PM actually. It's going to say, for example, if I wanted to do it 1:03, or say it's a couple of hours advance of us in the afternoon. So if I do it 01, as you can see, I'm pressing the keypad and it is moving it forward, and then I want it as a 0. Now it's already at 3, so if I just press the bottom right hand pusher here, you will notice it does advance it back to what would be the hours if you want to re-amend them. So if I just come out of that, I can just press that button there, the top left hand button, that stops the adjustment of the dual time. Now if I want to set the daylight, if they respect the daylight saving time wherever I'm setting this dual time for, if I just press this button here for a couple of seconds, well, you'll notice the daylight saving time option has been highlighted, and obviously the hour has gone up by 1. If I want to just turn that back off, press the bottom right hand button or the bottom right hand pusher, and there you are, it's back to what would be non-daylight saving time, and it is a couple of hours advanced of where we are here in the UK. And that's dual time on this CASIO DBC-32. And that's it really in a nutshell. There is a lot more to it. I mean, this video is probably going to go on for it's probably gone on for a certain amount of time. Now if you want to see the full extent of this watch can do with the calculations, and maybe some of the other things I haven't explained, like for example the other parts of the alarms that this watch can do, which is monthly alarm, month alarm, day of the month alarm, etc. There is a link to what would be the instructions on the Casio website, linked in the description box below. If you like this video, then please click on the like button. If you want to see more videos from the We Try Anything channel, then please click on the subscription button below. And thank you for watching this tutorial. We hope it's helped, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.